My name is Lawrence Wagner, and I am the Senior Engineer for Anderson Radiant Heating. During this video, I will discuss the boiler for the Eichler radiant system. There are two types of boilers suited for the heating in the Eichler home. They are atmospheric and high-efficiency condensing units. Since the condensing units were not available until several years ago, all the original boiler systems in the Eichler home, regardless of the manufacturer, are atmospheric boilers. It has only been within the last 10 years that residential high-efficiency condensing boilers have entered the marketplace. In 1992, to reduce pollution and have products meet the highest available energy standards, the Energy Star program was established by the EPA. These standards have been adopted by the state of California and in turn by most counties and cities as code requirements for new and retrofit installations. Because of this program, a boiler's efficiency is measured by Annual Fuel Utilization Efficiency, or AFUE, and must display a label confirming it has been tested and qualified for the program. AFUE is a measure of how efficient the appliance is in converting the energy in its fuel to heat over the course of a typical year. In order for a boiler to qualify for this certification, it must have a minimum AFUE of 90%. An AFUE rating of 90% means that 90% of the energy in fuel becomes heat for the home and the other 10% escapes up the flue and elsewhere. Since all atmospheric boilers find it difficult to achieve this standard, they have been eliminated from being installed in the Eichler home in California for failure to meet the adopted code requirements. When replacing the boiler system, you must rely on the expertise of the installing contractor to recommend a unit that is appropriate for the Eichler home. The size of the boiler depends on the output required to offset the heat loss of the structure according to specific climate and weather conditions for your area. It is important not to undersize or oversize the boiler. Undersizing will lead to inefficient heating and cause the boiler to run continuously. Oversizing will lead to short cycling problems, causing excessive wear and tear on the equipment. If your boiler is old, worn out, inefficient, and oversized, as most of the original boilers were, replace it with a modern high-efficiency model to reduce your operating costs. Our customers continue to praise the condensing boiler we have installed and report fuel savings of 50 to 60% over the old equipment. When shopping for a high-efficiency boiler, always look for the Energy Star label. Hydronic contractors have various brands of high-efficiency boiler products they recommend for and install in the Eichler home. Most of the products are well suited for the application if properly installed as recommended by the manufacturer. Let me emphasize, properly installed. You will be surprised how many units are not, because the installer simply failed to read the installation manual or did not understand the Eichler heating system. Some of the boilers perform better than others with less maintenance required. Anderson Radiant Heating has been installing the triangle tube boiler for over 10 years. It has performed very well in the Eichler home and is our unit of choice for the replacement. We feel a professional responsibility to inform the Eichler homeowner as to the proper use of tankless water heaters and why it is a poor choice to substitute for a boiler. Take a look at one of our boiler and tankless water heater installations. The boiler is on the left and the tankless water heater is on the right. Can you see the difference in the equipment? When installed as a heating source in the Eichler home, these units are less efficient, contain improperly designed modulation controls for the application, are not ASME or American Society of Mechanical Engineers approved for space heating, restricted from installation by most Bay Area cities and counties, and do not meet the original specifications as outlined for the Eichler radiant heating system. Even though they may be labeled and represented by the manufacturer as a space heating appliance, they are not to be installed as a heating source for the Eichler home. The efficiency rating, or EF, as stated by the manufacturers, is deceiving and depends on the product application. The Department of Energy, or DOE, defines the testing methods used for boiler and water heater products, while the testing agency GAMA, or the Gas Appliance Manufacturers Association, performs the tests to certify the ratings. On September 26th of 2002, we requested GAMA clarify their testing methods and procedures for the boilers and tankless water heaters. The engineering staff representing GAMA has stated, and I quote, "The AFUE and EF ratings are not comparable. As suggested, they are based on two specific test methods which result in different conclusions. The AFUE is specific to space heating products and takes into account the typical seasonal heating requirements. EF is specific to residential water heaters and takes into account the typical daily water usage of the average residents. The DOE does not require tankless water heaters to be tested as space heaters, so our certification program has not tested tankless water heaters using the AFUE methods." End quote. In layman terms, when one is told a tankless water heater has an EF rating of 85%, this efficiency factor is erroneous and not applicable to space heating. When one is told a boiler has an AFUE of 96%, this indicates a measure of the amount of fuel converted to space heating in proportion to the amount of fuel entering the boiler. I hope you get my point. For the Eichler rating system, EF has no meaning whatsoever, while AFUE is the only efficiency rating to be considered. In conclusion, tankless water heaters are good for heating domestic hot water, but are not boilers, yet they have been sold and installed as a replacement for boilers in the Eichler home. Because they are designed for open-loop domestic hot water generation, this appliance is not the best choice, nor should it be installed as a boiler substitute in the Eichler radiant heating system. If you are using one of these appliances as the heat source for the radiant panel, I recommend you remove it immediately and install the appropriate equipment. I have a few final words on the actual installation of the boiler itself. Take a look at one of our recent installations and why we are considered a premier contractor in the hydronics field. There is a difference in the quality of the work and the manner in which the unit is installed. Please note some of the following items we consider very important for a proper and quality installation. All the piping should be type L copper, straight and level and secured. All the piping needs to be insulated with a quality product, strapped and sealed. The minimum insulation thickness will be 3/4 inch wall, while some cities require 1 inch wall. All important valves and main power should be labeled. An emergency shutdown procedure should be placed on the boiler for the owner's use. A backer board of some type should be installed to allow for easy securing of straps, clamps, and support equipment. Only high quality support items should be used, consisting of air tanks, pumps, flanges, pressure reducing valves, backflow preventers, pressure relief valves, and other valving. Always isolate the radiant supply and return piping with valves and hose bibs to ensure ease of testing the concealed radiant tubing. Ensure the radiant supply and return are connected to the boiler in the right configuration. During startup, observing the manifold temperature with an infrared camera will ensure the supply and return have not been crossed. Ensure there is adequate combustion air as required by the codes. Use only brass or wrought copper fittings that are 95.5 soldered. We never use fittings that are secured with O-rings or press fittings for any boiler installation. Install the pumping system with primary or secondary configuration as appropriate. Please visit our website at radiantheat.net for a complete explanation. Until next time, thank you again. This is Lawrence Wagner, the Senior Engineer for Anderson Radiant Heating, wishing you a great day.